All right, so today we are going to deep dive into some interview prep for any of you out there aspiring to be groundwater monitoring technicians.
Sounds good.
We've got a couple of really great resources from RoleCatcher.
Okay.
We've got both their career guide and their interview guide. And I'm really excited to kind of unpack all of this with you.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about knowing all the answers. It's about really understanding, like, what those interviewers are actually looking for.
Exactly. They want to know, like, are you going to be a good fit for their company? Not just, can you, like, list off a bunch of facts.
Right.
It's more like, are you passionate about this? Are you
Yeah.
going to be able to, thrive in this role?
Yeah. Okay, so first things first. What exactly does a groundwater monitoring technician do?
Yeah.
I feel like there's some mystery around this role.
Yeah.
So-
So basically think of them as like the guardians of our underground water resources. So they're the ones who are out there on the front lines. They're collecting samples, they're conducting tests, and then they're analyzing data to make sure that our groundwater stays clean and safe.
Okay.
And it's not just like lab work. You might be out in the field in like all sorts of environments,
Oh, wow.
from forests to deserts.
That does sound like an adventure.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, this career path looks pretty promising. RoleCatcher mentioned an 8% projected job growth rate,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
It is really good. So, with us focusing more and more on protecting the environment, I think this field is really only going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
And that's actually where RoleCatcher's AI tools come in handy, because they can help you tailor your CV and your interview answers to really stand out.
Right.
So it's not just generic applications anymore. It's
Yeah.
about making sure that your application is relevant to the specific job that you're applying for.
Right. And they even have AI feedback for, like, practice answers.
Uh-huh.
So you can kind of fine-tune your responses and build some confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's just jump right into some of these interview questions.
Yeah.
The first one from RoleCatcher's guide is, can you explain your experience with groundwater sampling?
Okay.
Seems pretty straightforward, but I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, there definitely is. So they're not just looking for like a yes or no answer here.
Yeah.
They want to see like how well do you actually understand all the different techniques and methods involved.
Gotcha.
So instead of just saying yes, talk about specific types of sampling that you've done.
So mentioning things like low-flow purging,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is a technique used to minimize the disturbance to the aquifer while they're collecting samples.
Exactly.
Would that be a good move?
Yeah, for sure. Because it shows them that you know what you're talking about. Be prepared to talk about the pros and cons of different techniques.
Okay.
And you know why you chose a particular method in a specific situation.
So it's like showing them that you can think critically and make decisions in the field.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, well, what about challenges? Have you run into any tricky situations while sampling?
Oh, tons.
Oh, yeah.
Field work.
Yeah.
It always throws you curveballs.
Sure.
So, you might encounter things like equipment malfunction. You might have a really hard time accessing the site. You
Good.
might have, unexpected weather conditions. But the thing is that the interviewers want to see how you can handle that pressure
Right.
and how you can solve problems.
So if they were to ask something like, tell me about a time that you face a challenge during sampling, this would be the time to use the STAR method.
Yeah, that's a great point. Definitely. So, situation, task, action, result. Just walk them through that specific challenge, describe your role and the actions that you took,
Okay.
and then highlight the positive outcome. So really focus on showcasing those problem-solving skills
Okay.
and your ability to adapt to those, unexpected situations.
Great advice. And this actually ties in nicely with question number 2 from RoleCatcher. They ask, how have you managed and maintained groundwater monitoring equipment? And this is all about showcasing that you're meticulous and that you're responsible.
Right. So think about the procedures that you follow, even the routine ones.
Okay.
Like, did you calibrate sensors? Did you decontaminate equipment?
Right.
Detailing all those steps will really highlight to them that you're committed to data accuracy and reliability.
Because let's face it, bad data leads to bad decisions.
Exactly.
It's all about ensuring the integrity of your findings.
Yeah. And also, don't be afraid to talk about specific equipment that you've worked with, especially if it's relevant to the job that you're applying for.
Okay. Now, I'm curious, what's the most challenging equipment malfunction that you've had to solve in the field? I bet you have some good stories.
Oh, so many.
I bet.
One time I was #ETS, the deep dive episode 2024-10-23, part 2 of 3. Oh, there are so many stories. But I think we better move on.
Yeah, let's not get too lost in the equipment malfunctions. Okay, let's go into question number 3 from RoleCatcher. They say, can you explain the importance of groundwater monitoring?
Now, this one might seem a little philosophical, but I think it's your chance to really show them you're not just a data collector. You're passionate about this work.
Exactly. So this is where you connect the dots between those technical tasks and like the bigger picture
Right.
of environmental protection. It's the why behind the what. Like, why does this work matter?
Okay.
You can think about things like protecting public health, preserving ecosystems, ensuring that we have sustainable water use.
So it's not about getting lost in the technical jargon. It's really about talking about the why behind the what.
Exactly. And, this actually kind of ties back to what we were discussing earlier about RoleCatcher's Career Guide.
Okay.
Because, as you kind of move up in your career from entry level to senior technician, you'll be communicating with a wider range of people.
Right.
Like regulatory agencies, stakeholders, the public.
Yeah.
So being able to like clearly communicate is super important. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to these interview questions. RoleCatcher number 4 asks, have you ever encountered a problem while collecting groundwater samples?
Okay.
How did you handle it?
All right.
This feels like the classic, tell me about a time you faced a challenge question.
It is. And they're not looking for just a story here.
Right.
What they want to know is like, what are your problem-solving skills? How do you think on your feet? Are you committed to getting the job done right?
So STAR method, our best friend here.
Absolutely. So paint a picture for them of the situation, outline the task at hand, detail the actions that you took. And then this is the important part. Highlight the positive outcome.
Okay, so like, did you manage to salvage the samples? Did you have to come up with some crazy solution to get around an obstacle?
Yeah, like those are the things they want to hear about.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to talk about, how resourceful you were. Did you have to improvise? Did you work with other colleagues to try to come up with a solution?
Right.
Those are the details that will really, help you stand out.
Okay, moving on to question number 5. This one focuses on data analysis and reporting. Can you describe your experience with data analysis and reporting? Nay. It's not just about collecting the data, it's about making sense of it.
Exactly. And they want to know that you can not only crunch the numbers, but you can extract those meaningful insights from them.
Okay.
So be prepared to discuss specific software or tools that you use.
Right.
Things like Excel for spreadsheets, R for statistical analysis, or GIS for mapping and spatial analysis.
Okay. And don't forget to highlight those soft skills too. Like, can you communicate those findings? Can you tell a story with this data? That's what sets people apart.
Right, because it's about being able to translate those numbers into like actionable insights that can then be used to, inform decisions and drive change.
Absolutely. Okay, speaking of staying up to date, RoleCatcher's Career Guide mentioned the importance of continuous learning in this field.
Yeah.
Attending conferences, going to workshops, getting certifications.
That's so important because technology changes, new regulations emerge, best practices are constantly being refined.
Right.
So, showing them that you're committed to that professional development.
Right.
That's really important.
It shows that you're invested.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tackle question number 6. Can you explain your experience with regulatory compliance?
Now, I know this one might not sound as exciting as field work
Right.
or data analysis, but it is crucial in environmental work.
It is super important because you're showing them that you understand the regulations, the guidelines, that you take your responsibilities seriously, and that you're going to do things the right way.
So be prepared to discuss specific permits, regulations that you've worked with, and if you've had any direct interactions with like regulatory agencies, definitely mention that. Just shows that you know how to work in that world.
Yeah, and this is another area where staying up to date is really key.
Absolutely.
Because things change. New guidelines come out.
It's really important to make sure that you're on top of it all.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit to question number 7. Can you describe a time when you had to work collaboratively with others on a groundwater monitoring project? Teamwork makes the dream work?
Right. It really does in this field. Groundwater monitoring projects often involve teams of people.
Okay.
It could be scientists, engineers, regulatory officials, community members. So you really want to highlight your ability to communicate effectively, to share information, and to work towards that common goal.
So don't just say, I'm a team player.
Right.
Show them.
Exactly.
Tell a story with that STAR method.
Yeah.
Describe a specific project.
Yep.
Outline your role, your contributions, and highlight that positive outcome.
Right. Focus on those interpersonal skills.
Okay.
Things like active listening, clear communication, conflict resolution.
Okay.
All of those are super important for, making sure that the team works well together.
Okay, ready for a more hands-on question? RoleCatcher question number 8. Can you describe your experience with installation and decommissioning?
So this is where you get to show off those practical skills and your knowledge of safety protocols.
Okay.
Be prepared to talk about the steps involved in those processes and really emphasize that attention to detail.
Okay.
And you know that you can follow the rules.
It's about showing them that you can handle the job, but that you're also going to be safe.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about what you know, it's also about how well you can communicate it.
Right.
So be clear, concise, and confident in your responses.
Okay, let's go into question number 9, which gets back to that all-important data. How do you ensure accurate and reliable groundwater monitoring data? Data integrity is like everything in this field.
It really is, because it's, the foundation for all of the decision-making that happens.
Yeah, right.
So when you're answering this question, really, highlight your understanding of quality assurance and quality control procedures. Talk about the importance of calibration, decontamination, proper sampling techniques, all of the steps that ensure that the data is reliable.
It's like building a chain of trust.
Right.
From the field to the lab to that final report.
Yeah.
Every step matters.
Exactly. And, don't be afraid to get specific here. Mention, quality control checks that you've implemented.
Okay.
Data validation techniques that you've used.
Gotcha.
All of that really shows them that you are committed to making sure that that data is good.
All right, we're on the final question from RoleCatcher's interview guide. Can you describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem with groundwater monitoring data?
All right, so this is another classic behavioral question where that STAR method really comes in handy.
Okay.
So walk them through a specific situation where, maybe you found a data discrepancy or an anomaly.
Okay.
And then, describe how you investigated it, the steps that you took to identify what caused it, and then how you fixed it.
So it's all about showing them that you can analyze.
Yeah.
That you pay attention to detail.
Yeah.
And that you can think critically and solve problems.
Exactly. And don't forget to highlight the outcome. Were you able to correct the data? Did you identify a procedural issue? And were you able to fix it so that it doesn't happen again?
Right.
Those are the things that they're going to want to hear.
This has been such a helpful deep dive into this world of groundwater monitoring technician interviews.
Yeah.
We've covered so much.
We have.
From understanding the role itself to really dissecting those questions.
Yeah.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI tools can really be a game changer. They can help you tailor your CV, your interview answers. You can practice with AI feedback. And even get discovered by those employers.
It's like having a coach in your pocket.
Yeah, exactly. And before we wrap up, I want to add one more piece of advice.
Okay.
Research that company.
Oh, that's a good one.
Look into their specific projects.
Yeah.
Their environmental initiatives.
Yes.
Their values.
That's a really great point because it shows them that you've done your homework.
Right.
And that you're genuinely interested in working there.
Yeah. It can be the difference between blending in and standing out.
Exactly. Because it shows that you're not just looking for any job.
Yeah.
You're looking for the right job.
Absolutely.
The job that you're really going to, love.
Okay. So, listeners, we hope this deep dive has equipped you with the knowledge and the confidence
Yeah.
to ace those interviews
For sure.
and to start this really rewarding career,
Yeah.
protecting our planet's groundwater.
Exactly.
Remember, your passion for this is your greatest asset.
Yeah.
Let it shine through.
Absolutely.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher for all those resources and guidance.
Yes.
They're a fantastic partner on this career path.
They are.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time. Hashtag TTS The Deep Dive, episode 2024-1023, part 3 of 3.
Yeah, it really shows them that you're not just applying to every job out there.
Right.
You've actually taken the time to learn about them.
Right, you're invested.
Yeah.
And speaking of standing out, let's circle back to RoleCatcher for a moment. Their AI-powered platform isn't just about prepping for interviews. It can actually help you through that whole job search.
Exactly. So their AI can actually tailor your CV to those specific job descriptions that you're looking at. And it can even help get you discovered by employers who are actually looking for someone with your skills and experience.
Wow, so it's like having a personal career assistant.
It really is, yeah.
Working behind the scenes, boosting that visibility, and just connecting you with the right opportunity.
For sure.
So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take that next step, RoleCatcher has some really valuable resources. And they have a lot of information on their website about the different career paths you can take within groundwater monitoring. Did you know you can specialize in areas like contaminant hydrogeology, remediation system design, or even groundwater modeling?
Yeah. There's actually so many different avenues that you can explore within this field, and RoleCatcher's Career Guide does a really great job of outlining all of those options and giving you insights into the skills and qualifications that you would need for each path.
That's awesome.
So if you're curious about those specializations within groundwater monitoring, definitely go check out their website.
Yeah, it's like a roadmap for your career.
It is, yeah.
All right, listeners, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from understanding the role of a groundwater monitoring technician to really breaking down those interview questions, and we've even looked at some career paths. So we hope that this deep dive has given you the knowledge, the confidence, and even a bit of inspiration to kind of embark on this journey.
Absolutely, and just remember that your passion for protecting the environment is your greatest asset.
Yeah.
So, let that shine through in those interviews.
Yeah, let it shine through in everything you do.
Exactly.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher for all their amazing resources and guidance. They're a great partner to have. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time.